Chapter 51. Secret Information. Martial Arts Practice Card plus Golden Body Card. It seems that this problem can be solved by combining the effects of these two cards. The effect of the Golden Body Card was not only defense. It also strengthens the entire body. Otherwise, if one's physical body wasn't strong enough, the impact from an external attack would shatter all of their internal organs. Therefore, after using the Golden Body Card, Su Jingxing's physique would be enough for him to cultivate the three-origin saber art. Although it could only last for 10 minutes, it would not be affected by the flow of time outside when he enters the martial arts practice space. The flow of time in the martial arts practice space was completely independent. After the consciousness and body enters, it would only be affected by the martial arts practice space. In other words, one would remain in whatever state he was in when he entered the space. The 10 minutes of the Golden Body Card was enough for Su Jingxing to stay in the martial arts practice space for 10 to 20 years. 3 Golden Body Cards should be enough for me to cultivate the human origin volume in the three-origin saber art to perfection. At this thought, Su Jingxing clenched his fists and joy emerged on his face. Indeed, he could do what Chen Xiaodao and Fan Chunggong could not. Now, I only need to get a martial arts practice card and I can start cultivating. The only problem is how do I do that? So far, Su Jingxing had only picked up martial arts practice cards from corpse puppets and barbarian corpses. To get a new one, he could only start from these two aspects. Where would there be barbarian corpses? The faction that destroyed the Dagger Gang and 2 branches of the Black Tiger Gang. How do I find them? Quote. Su Jingxing sighed softly. Indeed, the road to happiness is strewn with setbacks. If he wishes to extract a martial arts practice card again, he would have to wait for an opportunity. Most importantly, even if he were to find a barbarian corpse, he might not necessarily be able to extract a martial arts practice card. The fact remains that it all depended on luck. Su Jingxing took a deep breath to calm himself down. He suppressed the frustration in his heart. No matter what, he was prepared. He was much stronger than the others. Even if I fail to subsequently extract a martial arts practice card, it would be fine. I will wait until my physique is strong enough. The strength pill, which comes from the strength enhancement card, was a good stuff that Su Jingxing exclusively owned. He would eat them as candy every day and temper his body at the same time. This body tempering method was a gradual process without any hidden dangers. Every day, Su Jingxing would get a little stronger. If he didn't feel it carefully, he would think that he was really eating candy. In reality, Su Jingxing did sense that he was getting stronger when he woke up every day. When the strength of his arms break through 100,000 catties, the strength of his physique would most likely reach an unimaginable level. At that time, he would be able to cultivate the three-origin saber art with ease. For this, he had to calm down and wait patiently. After sorting out his thoughts, Su Jingxing put away the secret manual and prepared to leave. His activated advanced hearing suddenly caught sounds coming from the room downstairs. First a door was opened, and then closed. 3 people entered. After entering, one of them immediately said in a low voice, Duan Fei Hong. It's all your fault. If you hadn't acted on your own accord and activated the barbarian soldiers to exterminate the Black Tiger Gang's branch, the underground base at Tsinghai University wouldn't have been exposed. Duan Fei Hong. Duan Fei Hong. Su Jingxing's eyes shone brightly as he stood rooted to the ground. Surprise appeared on his face. Wei Jiajia's eldest senior brother, Duan Fei Hong, has actually returned. Furthermore, he seems to be the one who directed the attack on the Black Tiger Gang. Eliminating 2 branches consecutively. Was Duan Fei Hong once abused and humiliated by the Black Tiger Gang when he was in Tsinghai City? Sha Yan, you have no right to lecture me. If it weren't for me, you would have long died in a ditch by the road. HMPH, you speak as if I've never saved you before. Don't forget how you broke through to the 6th grade. Duan Fei Hong is already a 6th grade. Su Jingxing's eyes flickered as he listened to their conversation. He left Tsinghai City for 8 years, returned secretly with a group of people with him and has broken through to the 6th grade. This Duan Fei Hong is really something. But, since he is back, why didn't he meet Wei Jiajia? Although Duan Fei Hong did not meet with Wei Jiajia, he still helped to resolve the troubles of the Wei family's dojo. In the eyes of outsiders, the Dagger Gang was annihilated because it was implicated by the Black Tiger Gang. After confirming Duan Fei Hong's true identity, Su Jingxing finally understood that the Dagger Gang's extermination was purely the consequence of Chen Xiaodao's own actions. Even though Duan Fei Hong did not appear, he had helped Wei Jiajia out from the side. Alright, stop arguing. What's the point of arguing when what happened has already happened? The most important thing now is not to let Li Linzhou find the factory through the underground base. Don't worry. Once the barbarian soldier died, everything in the base had been transferred to the factory. If Li Linzhou wants to find the factory, he will have to have a third eye. Even so, we can't let your guard down. Now that Tsinghua University is being watched, you'll have to stay here and keep an eye on them. You must be careful, do not let yourself get discovered by the Martial Suppression Office. Do I need you to teach me? Am I a child? You. That's enough, both of you. Especially you, Sha Yan. You have such a foul mouth. If you don't want to be slapped, then shut up. Why are you so fierce? If you ask me, I think we can give up on this observation point. In any case, the underground base at Tsinghua University is already exposed. What's the point of monitoring it? That's just in case. Anyway, you keep watch today. I'll do it tomorrow. The day after tomorrow, Duan Fei Hong. Alright. There was less conversation after that. Su Jingxing listened quietly the whole time and analyzed who was involved in Duan Fei Hong's organization. After some analysis, he realized that they were mainly relying on Duan Fei Hong to be stationed in Tsinghua City. After listening for a while more, he also learned that Duan Fei Hong had been back for almost a year. Over the past year, he had been making preparations for the organization's establishment in Tsinghua City, including bribing the principal of the university. Tsinghua City University of Science and Technology does not offer any martial arts subjects. They focused on humanities and technology development. A university like this was important, but no matter how much it was valued, it could not be compared to a martial arts university like Xuantian University. The principal of Tsinghua University was an ordinary person. It was understandable if he was bought over through bribery and coercion. In comparison, Su Jingxing was more curious about who the mastermind was. That's right. Through the conversation, he figured that there was a mysterious boss above Duan Fei Hong and the two others. This boss was not from Tsinghua City, nor was he from Changyang Prefecture. It was even unknown if he was a citizen of the Yu nation. Who is the other party? Why did they capture barbarians, turn them into puppets, put mechanical battle armor on them, and use them to wipe the underground gangs? According to Sha Yan, destroying the Black Tiger gang was only the beginning. The next one was the Flying Cloud sect. Their real goal was to destroy all the underground forces in Tsinghua City. As for why the boss behind the scenes was doing so, no one knew. Su Jingxing couldn't help but click his tongue when he heard these secrets. It was too complicated. Full of twists and turns, full of hidden secrets. Let's leave such a huge matter for Li Linzhou, Pan Biming, and the other important figures to feel troubled over. Su Jingxing was a corpse collector at the crematorium. He just had to be himself. Because of this, when Duan Fei Hong and the third person left the room downstairs, Su Jingxing followed behind quietly. Enhance your reading experience by removing ads for as low as $1. Barbarian soldiers. According to the conversation between Duan Fei Hong and the two others, the first thing they did after the underground base was exposed was to move the remaining barbarians there to a factory. Su Jingxing had to follow them to find this factory. He was doing this firstly, to find out the location and send a message to the Martial Suppression Office to destroy all of the subsequent schemes by Duan Fei Hong's faction to avoid implicating innocent casualties when they wipe out the underground gangs. Secondly, it was to extract the martial arts practice card. While Su Jingxing was already prepared to wait patiently, wouldn't it be better if the wait could be shortened significantly? The cards extracted from the barbarians' corpses might not necessarily be martial arts practice cards. However, the probability of obtaining the martial arts practice card was definitely not low. As long as there was some hope, Su Jingxing was willing to give it a try. So, on the way, Su Jingxing activated his advanced hearing and locked onto Duan Fei Hong and his accomplice from 100 meters away. They left the estate and took a bus. That's right. Duan Fei Hong and his accomplice did not drive themselves or call for a taxi. Instead, they took a bus to the factory. This saved Su Jingxing a lot of trouble. While the duo took the bus, Su Jingxing took a taxi and followed behind them. After Duan Fei Hong and his accomplice alighted and entered a small suburban road, Su Jingxing, who had driven further for a while, immediately paid his fare, got out of the taxi and walked back. He stood at the entrance of the small path and looked at the factories at the foot of the mountain. After thinking for a moment, Su Jingxing quickly walked back and asked for a private room in an internet cafe in the suburbs. Through hacking, he invaded the company systems of the factories at the foot of the mountain. To prevent alerting the enemy, Su Jingxing used the elimination method. He went factory by factory to check the company's secrets. The faction that Duan Fei Hong belonged to owned a high level of technology and would definitely use computer technology. Even if some important information was preserved on paper, traces of some would be left behind on the internet. Su Jingxing was looking for these traces. As it turned out, Su Jingxing had made the right decision to hack into the systems. After eliminating 2 factories, he found the intranet of the company of Duan Fei Hong's faction. There wasn't much important information on the internet, but this factory was full of surveillance cameras. The cameras were installed to prevent any accidents from happening. However, Duan Fei Hong and the rest would never have imagined that someone with superb hacking skills would target the factory. Then, through the cameras, look into all the areas in the factory. Among them was a heavily guarded warehouse. In this warehouse stood many tall and sturdy barbarians. Found them. With the help of the cameras, Su Jingxing looked at the unmoving barbarians on the screen who had their eyes closed. He could not help but smile. At a glance, there were nearly 50 barbarians hidden in the warehouse. With so many barbarians, extracting one martial arts practice card should be possible. Su Jingxing rubbed his hands, thinking about how to enter the factory, kill these barbarians, and extract the cards. Thank you to the previous barbarian who gave me an invisibility card. With the invisibility card, Su Jing entered the factory and went straight to the entrance of the warehouse. It was not a big problem. The problem was the guards outside the warehouse and how to kill the barbarians without causing a commotion after entering the warehouse. Oh, perhaps I can do an image overlap. First, record the current footage of the peaceful scene now and set the time. When I arrive at the entrance of the warehouse, overlap it so that the people watching the surveillance cameras in the factory will still see the peaceful scene. This method sounds feasible. At this thought, Su Jingxing added some details in his mind. Then, he began to work quickly on the keyboard. After everything was settled, he left the internet cafe and went straight to the back of the mountain where the factory was located. There was a rather long journey to make after turning into the small path. Entering from the back of the mountain would save a lot of trouble. When Su Jingxing arrived, calculated the time and took out the invisibility card to unlock it. He felt a strange energy envelop his entire body. He used her phone to take a selfie to ensure that he could not be captured. Su Jingxing quickly headed to the factory and swaggered along the aisles until he arrived at the warehouse where the barbarians were kept. Activating advanced hearing, he listened carefully to his surroundings to make sure that no one was around. After calculating the time, Su Jingxing suddenly made his move. With the 8 steps rising dragon, in a few flashes, he put down the armed guard who had no reaction. Then, he quickly opened the warehouse door and entered. Similarly, still using the 8 steps rising dragon, he channeled his internal force into his palms. Shifting quickly between the barbarians, he punched their chests. Bang bang bang. The internal force seeped into the bodies and shattered the heart meridians of the barbarians who seemed to be hibernating. Barbarian corpse discovered. Would you like to extract it? Yes. Barbarian corpse discovered. Would you like to extract it? Yes. Su Jingxing, who was suppressing his excitement and flashing around at lightning speed, kept responding. This feels amazing. Barbarian corpses that could only be encountered by luck were now being born one after another and free for Su Jingxing to extract quickly. As for whether or not they were martial arts practice cards, he would put it aside for now. 50. No, Su Jingxing only confirmed that there were 47 barbarians in the warehouse when he arrived at the scene. Including the 3 dead barbarians, there were a total number of 50 barbarians in this batch. Su Jingxing didn't miss any of the 50 corpses. Haha. While Su Jingxing was busy in the control room of the factory. Hey, something seems to be wrong. A man looked at the images from the 2 surveillance cameras outside the warehouse and commented hesitantly. What is it? His partner at a side turned his head and looked at the footage. He was puzzled. Nothing's wrong. Isn't it always like this? The man frowned and rubbed his chin. I can't tell exactly what's wrong. I just feel that something is off. Sigh, you're probably thinking too much. His partner could not help but laugh. These barbarians have been like this since they were transported here. They won't do anything until they're awakened. Don't tell me that one of them woke up by itself just now. No. The man shook his head and pondered. It's not about the barbarians. It's about the image. The surveillance footage inside and outside the warehouse hasn't changed for some time. That's normal. His partner waved his hand and said dismissively, when Professor Niu and the others have no use for the barbarians, what changes could there be inside the warehouse? As for those guys outside, they were punished severely after someone was caught lazing around and sleeping. Would they dare to slack now? The man was silent. After a while, he said, I still feel that something isn't off. Alright, I give up. I'll contact them and ask about the situation. As his partner spoke, he picked up his headphone and put it on. As he operated, he said in amusement, you can rest assured now, right? The man was silent, waiting for a reply. Old Zhao, if you hear me, please respond. If you hear me, please respond, his partner called out. However, there was no response for a long time. Old Zhao, please answer if you hear me. His partner continued. In the end, there was still no response. He called out 3 times, and got 0 response. At this moment, both of their expressions changed drastically. Something had happened. Barbarian warehouse. Bang. Bam. Su Jingxing exuded his internal force to kill the last two barbarians. Barbarian corpse discovered. Would you like to extract it? Yes. Barbarian corpse discovered. Would you like to extract it? Yes. Done. Tapping the cards in his pocket, Su Jingxing left the warehouse without hesitation. Just as he stepped out of the door, an urgent alarm started blaring. Accompanying it were messy footsteps coming from both sides of the aisle. I've been discovered. Su Jingxing raised his eyebrows and calmly walked to the right aisle. I still have 5 minutes left on the invisibility card. As long as I do not panic and expose myself, the remaining duration is enough for me to leave the factory. Just like that, he arrived at the right aisle and was met with a group of armed guards. Without batting an eyelid, Su Jingxing exerted a little force on his feet and silently executed the 8 steps rising dragon. Stepping on the walls, he flew past the heads of these guards. He walked out of the aisle and entered a long corridor. After passing through it, there were 2 more aisles before he reached the main entrance of the factory. The route was clear and no one noticed him. Su Jingxing took his time and controlled his body to move forward. When he was halfway down the long corridor, Kai. A few sprinklers above his head suddenly opened up and sprayed water. The water contained color. Light green water fell from above and landed all over Su Jingxing. The outline of a human body appeared on the spot. His invisibility state was broken. In less than a second, Su Jingxing heard a voice speaking through the walkie-talkie and giving others. Then, the guards who were running around immediately gathered at both ends of the corridor. Da da da. Da da da. Disordered footsteps came from all directions. At the end of the long corridor, 2 rows of armed guards were aiming their machine rifles at Su Jingxing. Behind Su Jingxing was another group of guards with guns aimed at him. Friend, since you've come, why don't you show yourself? A voice that Su Jingxing had heard before came from the loudspeaker in the corner. The third person who was with Duan Fei Hong in the room below Fan Chunggong's secret room next to Qinghe University. Presently, through the cameras, the other party was looking at Su Jingxing, whose silhouette was revealed under the invisibility state, and speaking to him. I have good tea here in the office. How about a drink? Su Jingxing continued walking forward indifferently. Water poured down from above. As he moved, more water splashed everywhere with every step. All right, since our friend is unwilling, we can only apologize. A regretful voice sounded from the loudspeaker. The next moment. Fire. Tuck tuck tuck. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At the 2 ends of the long corridor, the guards who were aiming at Su Jingxing fired immediately upon receiving the order. Many bullets poured out, breaking through the air and heading straight for Su Jingxing. Buzz. The surface of Su Jingxing's body trembled, and a light membrane covered his entire body instantly. The rapidly approaching bullets were successfully blocked, releasing a crisp metallic sound. Golden body card. The special energy that came from unlocking the card strengthened Su Jingxing's physical body and gave him terrifying defensive power. When the bullets hit Su Jingxing, they only left a few holes on his clothes. At the moment when the guns were fired, Su Jingxing dashed forward and executed the 8 steps rising dragon. In a flash, he only took 3 shots before he crossed the long corridor and reached the end, knocking away the group of guards who were shooting. Bam, 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 bam. Accompanied by dull thuds, this group of people were sent flying and crippled. They laid on the ground and howled miserably. Swoosh, swoosh. Su Jingxing, who was already charging forward, didn't stop. He continued forward and entered the remaining 2 aisles. The first one was left unattended and he passed through in a flash. At the end of the second aisle, Duan Fei Hong stood with a large sword in his hand. He was expressionless as he stared coldly at Su Jingxing, his aura rising continuously. You want to leave? Defeat me first. Who tilde? Duan Fei Hong brandished his big sword, causing his true energy to erupt and condense into sword energy that wrapped around and sealed the entire aisle. In the next moment, this storm of sword energy swept towards Su Jingxing. Bang! Su Jingxing swung his fist and met the attack head-on. As he flashed, a ball of true energy suddenly appeared out of thin air. It wrapped around Su Jingxing's fists and transformed into fist imprints that smashed forward into the storm of sword energy. Boom! As if a cannonball had exploded, a deafening clap resounded through the air. The nearly corporeal punch shattered more than half of the sword energy, dismantled the storm, and produced a powerful force that swept across the entire aisle. The terrifying power left clear and deep marks on the walls. Duan Fei Hong, who was wielding a large sword, only felt an enormous force rushing towards him. Before he could even see how the fist imprint appeared, he felt a sweetness in his throat and blood filled his mouth. He stepped backward uncontrollably. Before he had even steadied himself. Thump! The air exploded. The second fist imprint tore through the air, shattering the remaining sword energy as it rushed towards Duan Fei Hong. Ah! Duan Fei Hong's pupils constricted as he forcefully swallowed the blood clot in his mouth. Then, with a furious roar, he brandished his sword with a ferocious expression and resisted the attack head-on. Boom! With a loud bang, endless energies burst out and wreaked havoc in the corridor. As a dull thud sounded, Duan Fei Hong was sent flying into the air. His body fell back and the sword in his hand was raised high. Clang! The sword fell to the ground. Thud! Duan Fei Hong crashed into the wall of the aisle and most of his body sank into the wall. The wall around his body was covered in cracks. Pooh! Pooh! Wah! Blood spurted out from his mouth non-stop. Duan Fei Hong, who was in great pain, wanted to struggle, but his vision turned black and he fainted. 2 punches. Unlocking the true energy card with 3 years of cultivation and combining it with the 7 steps fist, I only used 2 punches to knock Duan Fei Hong out. Is this fist technique too powerful, or is the 6th grade Duan Fei Hong too weak? Controlling his remaining true energy, Su Jingxing, who was executing the 8 steps rising dragon, brushed past Duan Fei Hong. He glanced at Duan Fei Hong from the corner of his eyes and muttered inwardly. His feet did not stop moving, and his body flickered continuously. Driven by his true energy, he rushed out of the factory at 3 times the speed before. Before the few people blocking the entrance could even see Su Jingxing's figure clearly, they were sent flying by a huge force and fell to the ground with loud thuds. Swoosh! Su Jingxing, who rushed out of the factory, tapped his toes and leapt into the air. Driven by true energy, the true might of the 8 steps rising dragon erupted for the first time. Roar! The sound of him breaking through the air at full speed resembled the cry of a dragon. In an instant, Su Jingxing, who was 100 meters in the air, held back the excitement in his heart and changed his direction. He entered the back mountain and disappeared from the view of the surveillance cameras outside the factory. In the factory office, the man who had shouted at Su Jingxing earlier had an extremely ugly expression when he saw this scene. But before he could react, the door was suddenly thrown open from the outside, and a burly man rushed in. Boss, this is bad. The people from the Martial Suppression Office are here. What should we do? The burly man shouted anxiously. What should we do? The man took a deep breath and gritted his teeth. Since we've come this far, let's make the scene bigger. Pass down the order, activate all the barbarian soldiers. Yes. The burly man roared excitedly with a flushed face. He turned around and ran out of the room. As he ran, he shouted, activate all the barbarian soldiers. Activate all the barbarian soldiers. Beep. 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 As the order was rapidly passed on, a series of prompts sounded in the factory. These notifications extended all the way to finally gather at the barbarian warehouse and connected to every sleeping barbarian. Then, nothing happened. The barbarian warehouse was dead silent. All the barbarians were still standing motionless. What's going on? Was the wrong order given? Quote. Discussions came from the various workshops. In the office, the man looked at the computer screen and picked up the walkie-talkie. He shouted, what are you all waiting for? Hurry up and check what's wrong. Yes. Understood. There was a flurry of static. The beeping notification sounded again. Then, the silence continued. Inside the warehouse, the barbarians still rooted to the ground without any reaction. What's going on? The man growled. He grabbed the walkie-talkie and walked out of the office, his face ashen and his eyes spitting fire. If you drop the ball now, I don't know. Boom. There was a loud bang. The ceiling above his head suddenly shattered and a huge hole appeared. Swoosh. An elegant figure descended from the sky and landed in front of the man. I finally found you. The person scanned the man calmly. The latter could not help but tremble. Li Linzhou. The Martial Suppression Office was called here by Su Jingxing. He had set the time in advance. In the plan, the second Su Jingxing kills all the barbarians, an anonymous email would be sent to the official email of Qinghai City's Martial Suppression Office headquarters. When the Martial Suppression Office receives the news, they would rush over and surround the factory. Here, Su Jingxing would have retreated after succeeding. And when the plan was implemented, this timing had been brought forward. Even though something unexpected happened during the process, Su Jingxing was discovered and his invisibility was exposed. Su Jingxing unlocked his true energy card, defeated Duan Fei Hong, and rushed out of the factory. There were no obstructions along the way, and he had retreated in advance. Of course. Li Linzhou arrived faster than expected as well. With the Martial Suppression Office surrounding the factory, Duan Fei Hong's and company were basically finished. As for what to do next, and whether they would be able to dig out the mysterious boss behind the scenes, they weren't Su Jingxing's problems to worry about. A few seconds before his true energy was depleted, he landed on the ground. Standing in a remote forest, he took off his windbreaker, hadn't even his mask. The water that poured from the ceiling of the long corridor almost changed the color of his clothes. If Su Jingxing hadn't been prepared, he would have to run naked. The 2 secret manuals that he carried with him would also be wet and contaminated. Such a potion was truly tyrannical. Su Jingxing's good mood was affected. He reached into his pocket and took out a stack of cards. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief and regained his spirits. 47 cards. I wonder how many of them are martial arts practice cards. Full of joy, Su Jingxing checked the cards one by one and read the descriptions. And as it turned out, he only got 7 martial arts practice cards. Each of these 7 martial arts cards were of very short durations, the longest being 5 years, and the shortest 2 years. Compared to the 2 that he had extracted previously, they were far inferior. Among the remaining 40 cards, there were 22 body strengthening cards and 18 mighty strength cards. As the name suggested, the body strengthening card could strengthen the body after being unlocked. One body strengthening card could give Su Jingxing's body 1 transformation. Unlike the golden body card, whereby the energy released only lasts for a certain period of time, the effect of the body strengthening card on Su Jingxing would be permanent. Skin, muscles, blood vessels, tendons, bones, limbs, brain, organs. Every part of his body would undergo a permanent cleansing and transformation to become even stronger. 22 body strengthening cards, 22 transformations. Su Jingxing wasn't even sure how strong his physical body would become. Because of this, Su Jingxing was not disappointed when he only picked up 7 martial arts practice cards. The quantity and effect of the body strengthening card had him overjoyed. With a strong physical body, there was no doubt that he would not need to expend the golden body cards to cultivate the 3 origins saber art. If his physique was stronger, he could absorb 18 mighty strength cards at once. Each of these mighty strength cards could increase one's strength by 5,000 caddies. 5,000 caddies per card. A total of 18 cards would be 90,000 caddies. In addition, Su Jingxing already had 8,000 caddies of strength. Together, it was 98,000 caddies. He was only 2,000 jins away from his goal of 100,000 caddies. I've made a killing. I've made a killing taking the risk to follow them, go deep into the factory and kill the barbarians. Haha. Su Jingxing was full of joy. Once I finish absorbing 22 body strengthening cards and 18 mighty strength cards, and continue eating the strength pills for a half-month, I can go seek revenge on Wan Rong. This goal was being achieved so quickly that even Su Jingxing found it a little unreal. Huff. Su Jingxing took a deep breath to suppress his excitement. After a while, he regained his composure. It was already late at night and he had to go to work, so there was no hurry to unlock the cards. Absorbing the body strengthening card was equivalent to a transformation. Whether it was during the process or afterwards, there would definitely be an impact. For this, there was no hurry. After calming down, Su Jingxing left the mountain and went to the street. He hailed a taxi and went straight to the crematorium. After finishing his shift at the crematorium, Su Jingxing returned to his small courtyard in the later half of the night. He casually ate something to fill his stomach. Then, he took out the body strengthening cards and the mighty strength cards. He first unlocked the body strengthening card and obtained a surge of energy that enveloped his entire body. Under the stimulation of this energy, Su Jingxing could clearly feel that his skin, blood vessels, muscles, bones, organs, and cells in various organs were changing. He became stronger, more muscular, and more energetic. Su Jingxing's body was emitting heat after he absorbed 1 body strengthening card. After resting for a while, he began to unlock the mighty strength card. From nowhere, a huge force flowed through his body. He then continued to unlock a body strengthening card and transform his body. That was followed by another mighty strength card again. Just like that, Su Jingxing unlocked them alternately, absorbing energy, strengthening his body, and increasing his strength. After 22 body strengthening cards and 18 strength cards were unlocked, Su Jingxing's clothes were completely soaked. His entire body was wrapped in hot air and his skin was red like a cooked crab. Boundless blood and chi flowed within his body, releasing surging sounds. The scorching aura was like a furnace, burning the surrounding air. Indoors, Su Jingxing didn't know that the entire small courtyard he was living in was shrouded in mist. If not for the fact that it was late at night and there was no one outside, it would have caused a commotion. Even so, the people nearby heard heavy thunderclaps in their dreams. This was Su Jingxing's heartbeat. After 22 transformations, Su Jingxing's body was incomparably strong. His blood and chi were as hot as a furnace, his heart beating like a drum. He had forgotten that the strengthening of the physical body would also give birth to power. Initially, he had thought that after absorbing 18 mighty strength cards, he would still be 2,000 caddies away from his goal. However, in truth, after absorbing 22 body-strengthening cards, the increase in strength was more than 2,000 catties. So, presently, Su Jingxing already possessed enormous strength that exceeded 100,000 catties. With a physical strength of 100,000 catties, how tough was his skin? The former could not be tested for the time being, while the latter was simple. Su Jingxing went to the kitchen to get a kitchen knife and cut his skin. He first made a slight cut, but there weren't even any white marks left. He used some force to a slight cut again, but there were still no white lines. More strength was used, but it was in vain. Finally, he decided to hack it himself, yet there was still nothing. In fact, the kitchen knife couldn't withstand the force and shattered, but it still didn't break a layer of skin. Given this toughness, he could basically ignore any ordinary weapons and bullets. Heavy machine guns and sniper rifles might be able to penetrate the skin, but to injure Su Jingxing, they would need to be holding special bullets. This was because the enhanced muscles could also keep the bullets lodged. A powerful physical body matched with terrifying strength, he was invincible in close combat. Shaking off the pieces of the kitchen knife, Su Jingxing grinned confidently. Now that he had achieved his goal, he could seek revenge on Wan Rong. Of course, before that, he had to control his surging blood and qi and restrain his aura. Otherwise, it would immediately cause a commotion if he steps out in his current appearance. A person shrouded in mist would definitely attract everyone's attention. As for how to control and restrain it, Su Jingxing, who had read Fan Chunggong's memories, happened to know a small technique. Then, he sat cross-legged on the ground and controlled his qi and blood to slowly calm and his aura to decrease bit by bit. Ordinary martial artists would take them between a few to 10 minutes to complete this step. Su Jingxing took more than an hour to return to normal. It couldn't be helped. His physical body was too strong, and it was his first time controlling it, so he naturally spent a lot of time. A few more times and it wouldn't take that long. At this moment, the sky was bright. Su Jingxing stood up, grabbed a handful of strength pills and threw them into his mouth. Previously, he was afraid that his body wouldn't be able to withstand it, so he ate them one by one. Now that his body was strong enough, he could eat them in bunches. 100,000 catties of strength was not the limit. Su Jingxing still wanted 200,000, 500,000, and 1 million catties of strength. These goals may be distant, but people should have dreams, right? Swinging his fists, Su Jingxing took off his crumpled clothes and pants and entered the bathroom to take a shower. When he came out and put on clean clothes, he realized that he had grown taller again. Previously, he was slightly off 1.8 meters, but now, he had passed 1.8 meters. He had to buy a few new sets of his usual clothes. Fortunately, I've been growing every day during this period of time. Now that I've suddenly gained a few centimeters, while it will surprise those who are familiar with me, they will not think too deeply about it. If the worst comes to worst, I'll have to slouch a little when I walk these few days. Su Jingxing pondered as he put on his clothes. After putting on his clothes and disguising his appearance, he left to look for Wan Rong. However, when he reached the entrance of the small courtyard, he suddenly remembered something and stopped abruptly in his tracks. This isn't right. Something seems to be wrong with my physical body. Su Jingxing carefully sensed his body and his expression changed. The strength pills I ate before I showered did not seem to have increased my strength. What is going on? Or is it an illusion? Su Jingxing frowned and thought for a moment. Then, he turned around and went back to his room. He took out the strength pills that he had accumulated and ate more than 10 of them. Then, he focused on sensing the changes in his body. A few minutes later, Su Jingxing swallowed another dozen pills. It's really not increasing anymore. Su Jingxing put down the jar containing the pills and murmured. After the tests, he concluded that consuming the strength pills did not increase his strength anymore. Did the strength pill lose its effect? No. It was Su Jingxing's physical problem. He had reached his limit. He originally thought that his strength had exceeded 100,000 catties, but he now knew that 100,000 catties of strength was the limit of a human body. To break the limits, the only option was to undergo a complete transformation. Enter 3rd grade. A 3rd grade martial artist is able to fly in the sky without relying on lightness skills. Su Jingxing wasn't clear about the physical body of a martial artist in this realm, and no one had shared anything on the internet either, but he imagined it shouldn't be too bad. Perhaps they have already undergone a complete transformation. Perhaps not. As for the exact details, they were too far away from Su Jingxing, so he put the matter aside for now. Eating the strength pills now wouldn't increase his strength, but it didn't mean that the strength pills were useless. Because Su Jingxing was not the Hulk, he did not have unlimited power. If 100,000 catties of strength were to be continuously expended, it would still be exhausted. If he was really exhausted, he could recover immediately after taking the strength pill. Therefore, he had to continue collecting and accumulating them. Huff. Taking a deep breath to stabilize his state of mind, Su Jingxing hid the jar and headed out again. His destination was Wan Rong's Glory Security Company. He went directly to the location and pretended to be a repairman. He looked around the whole company but failed to find Wan Rong. After leaving the company, following Fan Chunggong's memory, he went to the few places that Wan Rong goes to most often, but still couldn't find the man. He ran away. That fellow knew that I was going to exact revenge on him, so he fled in advance. Su Jingxing wore a curious expression. After some thought, he decided to return to Glory Security and kidnap the other assistant manager. This guy was a complete coward. Without waiting for Su Jingxing to threaten him, he automatically revealed a lot of secrets about Glory Security. They included Wan Rong's whereabouts. He had gone to the prefecture city. 3 days ago, Wan Rong left for the prefecture city of Chengyang Prefecture. He would only be back in Qinghai City 10 days later. Upon hearing this news, Su Jingxing pursed his lips. Since Wan Rong had gone to the prefecture city, he would have to go there to seek revenge on him. Besides a journey that was rather long, it would take more effort just to find him there. The assistant manager only knew that Wan Rong had gone to the prefecture city, but he didn't know what he was doing there. With this time, Su Jingxing might as well stay at the crematorium and move corpses. Besides, it was only 10 days. He could afford to wait. Let Wan Rong live for another 10 days. Su Jingxing let go of the assistant manager and asked him to give Wan Rong a call. Huh? The assistant manager was stunned. What huh? I'm telling you to make a call and report this to Wan Rong. Clear. Su Jingxing made the gesture of raising his hand to land a punch. Don't. I'll call. The assistant manager shrunk his neck and dialed Wan Rong's number shakily. When the call went through, he looked up at Su Jingxing nervously. What are you waiting for? Speak. Su Jingxing slapped the guy's head in annoyance. Of course, he used quite a bit of strength. I'll speak. The assistant manager swallowed his saliva and stammered as he told Wan Rong about how he was threatened and revealed the company's secrets. After that, he moved the phone away from his ear in case he was scolded. In the end, Wan Rong only remained silent for a moment before asking him to pass the phone to Su Jingxing. The assistant manager was stunned for a moment before he was overjoyed and handed the phone to Su Jingxing. Big brother Rong wants you to take the call. Ha tilde. Su Jingxing chuckled, took the phone and put it to his ear. You're the person Chu Zhaoyun hired, right? What benefits did he give you? Without waiting for Su Jingxing to speak, Wan Rong beat him to it and said, how about this, I don't care who you are and how much benefits you received from Chu Zhaoyun. I'll give you 1 million, and you delay this for a week. How does that sound? Su Jingxing was speechless. This fellow seems to have misunderstood. He knew who Chu Zhaoyun was. Wan Rong's competitor, the boss of Cloud Shield Security. Wan Rong mistakenly thought of him as someone sent by Chu Zhaoyun. Interesting. At this thought, Su Jingxing lowered his voice and said, 1 million is not enough, 10 million.